Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is January the 13th, 2025. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Monday. Happy Lasagna Day. Hopefully, you got some. As for me, yes, like I said, I'm good, as said by the intro. Work was solid. It was, I don't want to be like, oh, it's good to be back. I always hate when I have that feeling, but like it was, it was fine. It was a nice little work day. It was steady, not too busy. So we like that. We'd love to see that. So yeah, I felt very business as usual in that regard. Speaking of business as usual, the gym was good as well. I will say we're getting another surge of the newbies, the New Year's resolution, gymmers, and hey, you know what? It's good. I feel like I'm more adapted now, so I'm less abrasive. I'm just hitting my stuff and I'm getting in, I'm getting out. In fact, I feel like this is one of my faster nights where I got through everything and I even had extra 10 minutes or so. Usually I go a little bit longer, so that felt good, felt solid that, I was productive in the gym despite, the traffic. Let's see, food corner from last night, because we really didn't do too much. It was a pretty relaxed affair. We had chicken, white rice, egg rolls, some lettuce, trying to think if there's anything else. No, I mean, it was pretty simple. As you know, that's a pretty familiar staple, right? Normally I say Korean fried chicken, right? I like to at least say that. But this was not so much. I couldn't find the usual box I usually get for my Korean fried chicken, so I'm saving them, kind of on a little bit of hoard mode a bit there, and I just use like the Kroger chicken that I have, so it worked out. I'll tell you what, it was 2 times better than a PF Chang's chicken meal, that's for sure. Shoot, head and shoulders above. I will say it took a little bit of tweaking to kind of get the sauce the way I wanted, but it's good now. I think I have an idea for the next time that will be pretty much perfect for me. So I'm very happy with that. Sunday dinner was good. So yeah, there you go. We're all caught up. That's pretty much everything with me. Let's go ahead and do our startup, and we'll go ahead and get into some news. Ooh. All right. From the Associated Press. Prominent diplomat and jurist who heads top UN court named Lebanon's new prime minister. Lebanon's new president asked prominent diplomat and jurist Nawaf Salam to form the country's new government after Salam was named prime minister by a large number of legislators Monday. The move apparently angered the Hezbollah group and its allies. Salam is currently serving as the head of the International Court of Justice, and his nomination was made by Western-backed groups as well as independents in the Lebanese parliament. Salam has the support of Saudi Arabia and Western countries as well. Hezbollah legislators abstained from naming any candidate for the prime minister post. Now, kind of doubling back to the new president, Joseph Aoun. I'm still getting that name wrong, but it looked like Hezbollah was kind of like saying, "Hey, we don't love this pick, maybe, but we'll see where we're gonna go with it. We're down." And they even said, I believe it was Muhammad Reed, who's like a spokesperson for Hezbollah, was like, "Hey, we extended that as like a hand, like it's like an olive branch. Like, okay, we'll let you have this. You can get back to governing now. No caretaker government. We know, we had a whole economic collapse back in October 2022. Obviously we've got all the shit that we're going through right now. We'll let this go." And now With Salam, they're kind of making it known that it's like, no, we don't like this pick. Like, this is a pick that is very pro-West. We don't think in any way, shape, or form, the things that we want to have enacted and do is going to be, seen or looked at as okay. In fact, you guys are probably going to be very against us. So, we will see if this is going to be, a positive change for Lebanon or not. Obviously, getting back to business, getting back to governing is probably, a good thing. But in this situation we have here where it's like, okay, but, are the actual people's interests going to be, seen here? Or is this just going to be something that is like, okay, you're going to get hopefully Israel off your back and that's going to be about it here. So, if things are going to get back to like, hey, we're getting once again back to business and we're going to start, working on the economy, actually getting infrastructure back together in Lebanon so things can be better, then okay, great. But if not, then, it's probably just going to lead to, once again, a bunch of do nothing, and Hezbollah is just going to keep control and keep power. Once again, I always gotta say this, not that I'm rooting for Hezbollah or anything like that, but you can understand in some parts and ways how they get here and how they're like, hey, yeah, we're leading this shit and now you're taking the power from us. Okay, we don't have a choice, but we're gonna come back for it if this isn't working. So we will see. We'll see how things go. Let's see here. Is there anything else I really wanted to pull? They talk about his background and things of that nature, how he came into power from here, but I like my little summary enough. Let's see here. We can read a little bit more though. Salam holds a doctorate in political science from France's prestigious sciences. It's French, prestigious. I'm just gonna say it. Sciences Po, sure, Sciences Po. University, as well as a doctorate in history from France's Sorbonne University. He also has a Master of Laws degree from Harvard Law. Salam worked as a lecturer at several universities, including the American Institute of Beirut, or American University of Beirut. In 2007, he was named Lebanon's ambassador to the United Nations, where he served for 10 years. In 2018, Salam was elected as a judge on the ICJ, and in February last year, he was elected as president of the court, becoming the first Lebanese citizen to hold the post. Salam is married to journalist Shahar Basiri, who for many years was a columnist at Lebanon's leading An-Nahar Daily. Basari has been serving since 2018 as Lebanon's ambassador to UNESCO. All right, let's go ahead and move along. From Euronews, magnitude 6.9 earthquake hits Japan. A magnitude 6.9, nice, earthquake struck southwest Japan on Monday. The country's meteorological, why can I never get this word right? Meteorological, I know I'm saying it wrong, agency has said. The earthquake has hit 9.19 local time, or hit at 9.19. Oh my gosh, I'm in shambles. The earthquake hit at 9:19 p.m. local time. It added, tsunami warnings were issued at the Miyazaki prefecture on the southwest island of Kyushu, the epicenter of the earthquake, as well as for the nearby Kochi prefecture on Shikoku Island. Residents in some coastal areas were told to evacuate their homes as a precaution, while some trains stopped working. Though I do believe there was no injuries, there was no immediate damage reported, so that's good. So yeah, a bit of an update there, or not update there, but a bit of a, natural disaster there. But I was thinking, I know that the death count in California, I know this is just randomly coming to me in a bit of a segue, but in California, I know the death toll went to 24, and we're still worrying about the high impact like winds. The Santa Ana winds are potentially coming back this week. I believe it might be, I don't know. But then we also have obviously the multiple big fires going on. So a bit of a quick update there while it's on my mind. Also, I didn't say it earlier, but I know we're still doing ceasefire talks with Israel and Hamas. They've said, I think, a number now of 33 that they might be releasing in terms of hostages. Once a full deal is agreed upon, but I didn't put that in the episode queue really because I'm like, we've already talked about this, and it's once again just yo-yo. No agreement, just a new thing, a new problem, a new stipulation from Israel. So, I mean, I really hope so. It would be nice to have a deal that big before Trump comes into office. I mean, it doesn't matter in terms of the timing. I don't give a shit either way. You just want to see, at least some semblance of like, hey, we're making some kind of progress of getting people back home. You're getting hopefully some kind of at least temporary ceasefire deal set up. So like there's less airstrikes, less people dying, at least in that way right now. Obviously it's not peace. It's not, fixing anything in that regard, but at least it's something, it's at least a pause, at least a dampening, right? I don't know. We'll take those. But yeah, once again, I will obviously keep you posted on that. Moving on to South Africa, from the Associated Press, at least 100 illegal miners have died while trapped in a South African mine for months, group says. At least 100 men who were mining illegally in an abandoned gold mine in South Africa have died of suspected starvation and dehydration after being trapped deep underground for months, while police tried to force them out, a group representing the miners said on Monday. More than 500 other miners are still trapped, the group said. Sebelo Mnguni, told a spokesperson for the Mining Affected Communities United in Action group, told the AP that a cell phone sent to the surface with some rescued miners on Friday had 2 videos on it showing dozens of bodies underground wrapped in plastic. Mnguni said a minimum of 100 men had died in the mine in Northwest Province, where police first launched an operation in November to force the miners out. They were suspected to have starved to death or died of dehydration, Mnguni said. He said 18 bodies have been brought out since Friday. 9 of the bodies were recovered in a community-led operation on Friday. Another 9 were recovered in an official rescue operation by authorities on Monday, when 26 survivors were also brought out. Now, something I didn't know was that essentially in the whole process, because this is a bit of an update. We talked about this last year when it initially started. And like, it's not the situation where like we've covered other like miners being trapped before, people being trapped in like, cavernous underground situations where it's like, oh, they can't completely get out, but it's a situation of they are there illegally and they know if they come out in this situation, they will be arrested. They will be punished. And so they're like, no, well, we're not going to come out if you're just going to arrest us. Like, we have at least a set amount of food, we're just not going to come out. And essentially, law enforcement has been playing hardball here because they're not going to say, hey, we're not going to let you out, without any kind of charges. You have to come out and just kind of accept that. It is what it is, at least to my knowledge. And I'm learning, at least as of this article, that they've even gone as far as to like pulling out the ropes. And I knew that they were doing this at least temporarily, but like the way this situation works is like this mine has been shut down. There are people who used to mine it are like, well, this is what we did. This is our livelihood. You're taking it away from us. This mine still has resources in it. So we're going to go back in there illegally and do what we need to do. Like, this is our only way of living. And there's no other, like, we can't just switch jobs. There's no jobs. So yeah, we're going back to work in a lot of these situations. And to accommodate that, they go in for long periods of time. There are people who also follow them into the mines or like go maybe to like the top part, entry level type shit. And they sell, they get like, exchange wares, food, all kinds of shit. Well, that's been pulled out with the police. That temporary has gone on since we've covered it, right? So there are people who are now, they no longer have access to leave unless they find some kind of a way of escape. And they also have no way of getting food. Like, they only have what they had and it's gone now. So now what do? You are left to starve and die. So for the law enforcement to be like, they're illegal miners. They shouldn't be down there. We gave them a chance. No, man, you literally took it away from them when you said, hey, we're pulling the ropes up. You either come now or you don't come back out at all. Like, what are you doing? That's a death sentence. So to me, that takes it to a whole other level. Like, once again, you're kind of on the razor's edge of this conversation where I can understand where law enforcement's coming from. I obviously don't fucking agree, but like at the end of the day, you want to see these guys come out. You want to have this all done peacefully. How is this going to look or be and end well if you do what you did here, where you pull the ropes up and you don't send any more food? Like, you damn these people. There's no other way to look at it, dude. Like, so it boggles the mind that that's what's been going on here in South Africa. And now we're coming back to the story where we're looking at potentially hundreds of people being dead. You know what I mean? Like, at least. But we don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, you only have the bodies. You only have what was seen in the cell phone footage. Hopefully I'm coming back sooner with more updates here. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely like, that's fucked. That's sad. And could have been avoidable. And it's like, oh, well, yeah, it could have been avoidable. They could have just come back up. It's like, once again, you are going to prosecute these people. Like, no, man. Like, I understand why they're like, look, this is what we are doing to survive. Like, there's a reason we're down here. We're not down here to be like fucking pieces of shit. We just want to make more and more money. No, they're trying to support their livelihood, their families. Like, and now you're saying, hey, we're giving you this ultimatum: either come out right now or die. And that's essentially what the law enforcement, what government said here. So that really changes my perspective as it like on it, covering it now. Not that I was pro this shit back then, but it's like, once again, I understand that we're at loggerheads here. You know, what's going to happen? And law enforcement had choices that they could have made, and they chose to make the worst ones, in my opinion. So, goddamn, dude, it's sad as hell that people are literally just starving and dying, you know, in these dark ass fucking mines right now. So yeah, I did want to give an update on the situation, and yeah, it's really sad because, once again, these are people who are just trying to make ends meet for themselves. You know what I mean? And now they're just stuck here. They're stuck in a mine. You know. And now that like this is making headlines and shit, I imagine, law enforcement's changing their tune, maybe, and we see some softening here, but I don't know. I really don't fucking know. You never know, man. Tomorrow never knows. Goddamn it. So how the fuck will I? Anyway, we have one more thing I wanted to cover, and then we'll let you go. We got to go back. We got to talk about Alex Jones. We got to talk about InfoWars. We got to talk about Sandy Hook. God damn. But yeah, it looks like we might have a conclusion on some things, but we'll see. Let's take our last break and we'll go back into it. I would take my hoodie off for the occasion, but it's cold, so not gonna do that. Also, if you don't get that reference, that's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy, especially if you're a longtime listener and you've made it this far and you don't know the Alex Jones swag. At least old Alex, he doesn't really do that shit no more. But I mean, knock on wood. Hopefully, we don't see this motherfucker anymore. But I doubt that. Anyway, let me continue my break. Ooh. I'm currently looking at an ad for Gold Star, and I think it's very funny because they're showing me Gold Star burgers, which I'm like, look, in my hungry state right now, post break or mid break, that looks delectable. But I don't know. I'm not a bit like I don't go to Gold Star. I don't go to Skyline for really anything other than the chili, which, I mean, hey, some might say is suspect on either side. But yeah, or the desserts. Both. If you're going to Gold Star, the shakes are good, and then if you're going to Skyline, the cheesecakes are usually good. So whatever, like, dessert cake slice they got, especially now that like Frisch's is kind of gone, belly up, not fully belly up. You know, we've covered that, but I feel like Skyline dessert kind of hits even harder now because you really don't have an equivalent, maybe, unless you're going to like your local pastry, I don't know, place. Anyway, sorry. I'm just kind of ruminating right now out loud. Alrighty. Technically, this is from Reuters, but I gotta say, those motherfuckers paywalled me not once, but twice today in my research phase. So I'm gonna say shout out to Yahoo Finance. Technically, they're the reasons I'm reading this right now. Fucking Reuters. Anyway, Sandy Hook families reached settlement over Alex Jones's bankruptcy. Families who have sued Alex Jones over his false claims about the Sandy Hook massacre have resolved their disputes on how to divide the bankrupt conspiracy theorist's assets, clearing the way for a sale of Jones's InfoWars platform, attorneys said at a Monday court hearing. Let's just skip ahead a little bit here. Courts in Connecticut and Texas, which I need to add here, just full confession, I kind of focused, especially after we got the number of like $1.3 billion. I focus more on Connecticut and the families in Connecticut there. I tend to forget that Texas is involved, and I don't even know if I've covered the fact that they got the 15 mil in their end. Maybe I did, and it just got lost in the mix in my mind. But it's definitely worth noting, and in case I haven't up until this point. Courts in Connecticut and Texas, where some of the families filed their lawsuits, have ruled Jones Jones defamed the families by making repeated false claims that the 2012 school shooting, which killed 20 students and 6 staff members at Newton, Connecticut, was staged as part of a government plot to take guns away from Americans. The whole crisis actor bullshit, rah-rah. But the families had disagreed over how to pursue Jones's estate after he declared bankruptcy in 2022, with the Texas-based families preferring to take more cash from Jones, while Connecticut-based families prioritized the shutdown of Jones's InfoWars company. The disagreement helped scuttle a previous auction of Jones's InfoWars company after the court-appointed bankruptcy trustee decided to sell InfoWars to the parody news site The Onion for $1.75 million, with the Connecticut family's backing. Under the new agreement between Sandy Hook families, the Texas families will be paid $4 million, with $1 million being paid within 7 days of court approval, according to court documents. After that, Texas families will receive 25% of future payments made to the Sandy Hook families, with the Connecticut families taking 75%. The Texas families also agreed to limit their participation in the rest of Jones's bankruptcy case and to support the Connecticut families when necessary. Essentially saying, hey, you're now kind of here on the backbeat, and like, we love you, we're all in this together, but like, the Connecticut families and what they want are now going to supersede from here. Like, you guys aren't going to chime in unless you're saying, hey, no, we feel a positive way about it, more or less, or like, we're here to add more character, blah, 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 whatever, to whatever the conversation is. Let me see here. Actually, I gotta hit the story continues button. Yeah. Courts in Connecticut awarded $1.3 billion to the Connecticut families, by far the largest claim in Jones's bankruptcy. Courts in Texas, meanwhile, awarded $50 million to 2 Texas parents, while several other Texas plaintiffs were still waiting for trials when Jones's bankruptcy stopped their lawsuits from proceeding. Let's see here. Now I want to see if we can get to, The Onion. The Onion had won and got it for a $3.75 million offer. Now, Lopez, the judge, essentially was saying, hey, that's not... Oh, wait, no, I'm reading it. My bad. I'm reading it wrong. They had got an offer. I don't remember the number. But essentially, it wasn't enough according to Lopez. And First United American Companies, which is a company that is tied to Jones in a way, at least affiliated with him, through like the supplement shit. They were going to buy the company and essentially kind of preserve their own assets and, potentially, I don't know, give it back to Jones or give Jones something. I don't know. He was somehow going to be affiliated. Naturally, the families didn't want that. So they're like, hey, we will take a money cut here. Like, and maybe now that I'm kind of seeing this all in perspective and thinking of the Texas families and stuff, maybe that's where Lopez is coming from, the judge. Because I remember giving him shit for that, where it's just like, dude, like, I don't feel like, at the end of the day, if this is what the families want, why are you getting in the way of that? Just for some money? They don't give a fuck. But no, some of the Texas family members who are involved in this did. So it's like, in that regard, maybe Lopez is looking out for them and the greater overall good of it all. And that's something to think about and consider. That being said, I don't think that people really want First United American to get it, though Lopez did say, hey, I don't think either of you guys offered the right amount. You both should offer more. So now let me get to the number I did just say. After a previous sale of the Onion was blocked in court, the bankruptcy trustee received a new bid from First United American Companies, a company affiliated with one of Jones's supplement selling businesses, for more than double the company's previous $3.75 million offer. So that is what United offered. Once again, Onion offered, I think, something lower than that. I don't know if they've disclosed it, or maybe I just forgot or missed it. But essentially, that wasn't enough. So now, double that. Can the motherfuckers at the Onion get that number? I kind of don't think so. But then again, I might be pleasantly surprised. Maybe there's more backers involved. I would like to see that happen. The Onion get it, and not, once again, First United American companies or whatever the fuck they are. But we'll see. Time's going to tell there. We'll see. I'll have an update hopefully in the future about this shit. But I mean, at the very least, I hope we are moving towards a conclusion on this. Obviously, I was happy to see Jones get such a big number in terms of like the financial walloping he got out of these fucking lawsuits. But I think everyone kind of knew it was more symbolic than anything. And now that we're kind of getting into the guts of it, it's like, look, you can fight him for the rest of y'all's lives if you want, but he's probably going to continue to fight this. Can you come to a conclusion that actually, brings an end to it so we can say, hey, justice might not have been served perfectly, but at least it's something. Because shit, I mean, even how I look at it, man, I wish you could snap your fingers and put Jones in like a level of hell. Like, dude's a piece of shit for what he did. And not to mention, because at the core of it all, yeah, Jones is saying he's doing this because he wants, Americans to see what's really going on. And this is about defending, gun rights and blah, 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 blah. But we all know, if you are a real person with a fucking brain who actually looks at Alex Jones and the shit that comes out of InfoWars, this is a dude who is trying to sell you supplements and tactical fucking tents. He's a bullshit snake salesman, oil salesman, whatever the fuck you want to call him. He's a con man, dude. He wasn't selling you anything other than bullshit. And he was willing to say that people who died in a fucking school shooting were faking it. Were crisis actors. Like, he found a way to indirectly, directly influence his little fucking mob of fans and people who want to believe that this shit is fake so that they can just like fucking latch onto a conspiracy theory and say, yeah, that's the reality, not the reality that I actually live in. And like, they harassed actual victims of this shit. So yeah, I will never feel bad for Alex Jones. I always want the worst things to happen to Alex Jones. I'm always rooting for that. If my Tomato Town was real, he would have a place in there. You know it. He would send him there. So yes, boo, Alex Jones. Yes, I'm glad that you at least have to pay at least something. At least fucking something. And I goddamn hope that they can strip InfoWars for parts. I still am rooting for that, man. That's what I want, okay? But yeah, that's where I'll leave it for today. That's where we're going to call it an episode. Let's see. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/Isaiah News. Become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Please subscribe to the YouTube. That also helps out for free. Hit the like button. Leave a cool comment. Sharing is caring. And yeah, that's it. Hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.